What's new at Charlie's? What's new at Charlie's? Still on Main. What's new at Charlie's?
Hi, welcome back to another edition of What's New at Charlie's. Well, we're here today with a limited edition Yellowstone Bourbon. Really excited about this one for a few reasons. I think you all know my good friend here, Mr. Don Williams, the Bourbon Fool, Executive Bourbon Steward Extraordinaire. How you doing, Don?
I'm good, Charlie. You know what? This is one of the first ones we've done for a distillery we just visited together.
That's where you beat me to the punch. I was going to say, we just got back from Kentucky not long ago, and Mr. Williams here took me to Limestone Branch Distillery. Mr. Steve Fonte gave us an amazing tour, showed us all around, took us out back, tried some stuff we probably shouldn't have tried, had a great lunch. It was an amazing trip. So really excited to try this year's version of their limited edition. You guys might be familiar with this limited edition. This was the old Yellowstones. This was last year. I believe they come out like 2015 to make this about the 6th year of doing it. But they've always been in this little tube. So they talked about when we were there, they switched the bottle this year, give it a more classic, historical looking bottle. So you might be familiar with that, but it's the same idea. So it's a once a year product. Comes out once a year. It's, they do something special, and I bet it's going to be pretty special. So, Don, what do you know about it?
Well, what I like about it is I think this bottle is elegant. I think they've always done really good with their labeling and product packaging, but this is a very elegant shaped bottle.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a nice change.
Yeah.
But really, Yellowstone does a lot of experimental things. Like you mentioned, we were able to try some things while we were down there. But realistically, this one is barrel aged in used Armagnac kegs or casks. And Armagnac is a French brandy. So everyone's familiar with Cognac from France. This is Armagnac. It's a little bit more complicated brandy. And what I mean by that is it's made in smaller batches in one region, and they do some very interesting things, like they will age it for a while in rough kegs, and then they use smooth kegs because it gives it a different kind of finish.
Wow.
And a lot of it is different grape varieties in the brandy, and then they will blend them to get the family recipe. It's a very interesting story.
That is very cool. You know what's even cooler?
What's that?
You spent 20 minutes learning to say Armagnac, and then you said keg instead of cask. So
Yeah, well,
that was awesome.
That's what happens sometimes.
That's what happens sometimes.
But, to tell you the truth, this is an experimental. You kind of brought me around to having a more open mind about some of these barrel-aged products, and I'm growing more accepting of them. They're very interesting, and they bring a new nuance to bourbon in many ways.
Yeah, it just adds a level of flavor sometimes, or multiple levels of flavor. So you still get the bourbon, you get all these other things, But for the most part, I like them too. I think it's just something different, and I think I've talked about that in some videos that I'm kind of a fan. So excited to see what the guys have done here with this one. One thing about the Yellowstone or Limestone Branch, or just the Yellowstone brand, was the history of the product that I really didn't know that much about until we had the tour. So yeah, it's a brand that goes way back, and really some really cool stuff. Yeah.
Well, Steve and Paul Beam are descendants of that family, the Beam family, but more importantly, they're also descendants of the Dant family. So there are two very strong bourbon family genes running through this product. And interestingly, from when they broke ground at Limestone Branch in 2011, they then partnered up with Lux Row in Bardstown to increase the volume, the capability of distilling and aging. And then recently, just to give you the full circle, MGP has bought out Luxco, which means that now Yellowstone has MGP behind them. And when we talked to our good friend Steve Fonte, he's thought that what it's going to give them is strength the ability to bring different products to marketplace, and it's going to be exciting to see what happens.
Yeah, it is. It was like I say, if you're ever down that way, it was a fantastic tour, a lot of history, a lot of really cool stuff. Make sure you stop in. Tell Mr. Fonte we said hello up here in Michigan. So he says he's coming up to see us. Remember, he promised he's going to come have lunch with his dog on our patio. So
that's what he said.
I'm still waiting for that. So, all right, let's give it a pour here. See what we got.
So this product is 101 proof.
Okay. Wow, I like that.
There's a lot of fruit notes.
I thought it might be a little sweeter with the Armagnac, but it's subtle,
It is very subtle.
very subtle.
And it's not overly sweet in any way.
No, absolutely not. So yeah, I was my tongue. I was thinking one thing, my tongue's going a different direction. But wow, great flavor.
So it's a very, very interesting flavor. And I'm going to agree with something that I read about this product, is they said that they do not indicate how long it's seasoned in an Armagnac keg or cask.
Sure.
And it would be nice to see if they put it in longer, what this would turn into.
Sure. Yeah.
But it is light. It is got a lot of fruit notes. But not overly sweet. It's
not overly sweet at all. Just
really
a great
kind of
bourbon flavor, man. Yeah.
Really kind of an interesting balance. And some of the things that we've tried that, let's say, were barrel seasoned with used cognac, are sweeter.
Much
than
sweeter.
this.
Yeah. Right.
For sure.
Yeah. So I would say this probably is not in that Armagnac barrel too long, or maybe the Armagnac's just a little milder than the cognacs. But
yes.
Yeah. But great complexity, great bourbon. I love it. Yeah, I've always been a big fan. I'm going to go on the record and say I've always been a big fan of their limited edition series. I think I've tried all of them, and they've all been great. You can't go wrong picking up one of these bottles if you find one in a store. Once again, limited edition, once a year. Good luck finding one, but you can always find it at Charlie's Still on Main and give yourself a sample and see what you think. And I would highly recommend it. How about you, Don?
It's very, very good. And just for those of you who have not had the chance.
No, I meant Charlie's Still on Main. I'd recommend it. How about you, Don?
I would recommend that too. But for those of you who have never visited Limestone Branch,
Yeah.
it is a small place, a family atmosphere, and you will get history from Mr. Fonte that will make the trip worthwhile.
You will never forget your Stephen Fonte tour. Trust me, I won't.
Charlie, another good selection.
Another good one, man. We good?
We're good.
Cheers, my friend. Thank you.
Tell me
Thank you.
what's
Thank you,
new,
folks.
Charlie's.